Hey. All right, let's talk raising capital for your private equity fund. Now, one of the things that makes this whole process a little bit different is that you're not coming to somebody with a specific deal. You're not coming to somebody with, something that's just an idea that you want to start up. What you're coming to them with is the plan. Now, we talked about in the STD video the strategy that we want to put together that will help us put together what will be a prospectus that the investor will want to look at. Before you do any of that, though, what you want to get is feedback from investors. So you actually start raising capital before you go through doing a lot of that work. For two reasons. Number one, you want to make sure that there's enough interest in your idea. Number two, you're getting feedback from those investors because they're going to tell you, like, hey, here's what I like about your plan for the fund. Here's what I don't like about your plan for the fund. And then you can build a prospectus. It's interesting because this is a little bit of a take on what's called an MVP. So, if you studied a lot of kind of Silicon Valley type of business growth concepts, one of those concepts is the idea of this MVP. It's a minimal viable product. So you want to get up something that is working, or it'd be project, but you want to get something that is a product that you can go out and you can sell in the marketplace. And this is basically your project that you've got as a concept that you can go and sell in the marketplace and get feedback from those investors. So for us, that's what this process is. We go through the SCD process, and then we build out our strategies, and then we start talking to potential investors about what we plan on doing. We use our feedback from that to put together our prospectus, and that prospectus is going to be the thing that helps us raise capital. And again, the reason it's really crucial that you have the feedback before you even start the prospectus is that you've now got your investors. They've told you. It's just like having customers that tell you what they want in a product or a service. You've got your investors that have told you what they want out of this fund, and then you start to put together, here is the prospectus. Because all that stuff that you give them, once you go through this process, and this is important for you guys to keep in mind, this isn't like raising money for a deal. Once you go through this process and you start to distribute things to those investors, all of that is legally binding. If you do something different than what you've given them on any piece of paper, even if you just considered it a brochure or whatever, that investor can say, hey, this is what they in writing gave me, saying that this was their strategy, this was what their plan was, these were the kind of deals they're going to do, this was the how I was going to get paid my return. All of that is crucial. Is how they were going to make money. All of that you want in there, and you want to know that it's something that people are going to be attracted to. The other thing is it's really sketchy to present those and change them. So this isn't something where you want to start presenting things and then coming back and saying, oh, well, actually, I found out from this investor he wants it to be this way, so now I've made this change. That will cause you to lose faith. This is why this is really crucial that you go about the process this way. One of the first things that you have to do, which again is a little bit different than just going out and raising capital for an idea or anything like that, they're going to want to know what capital do you already have committed. So you have to have, before you start to go to strangers, before you approach somebody like me or you go to other investors, you want to go to other people, friends and family that are buying in because it's you. So you're going to have some people that are buying in because it's you, and you want to be able to tell the other investors, listen, I have this amount of committed capital. And it's that is what I'm starting with, and it shows that investor that you've put in some work. It shows that investor that you're serious about this. And the bottom line is, if you don't have the fortitude to get a few folks to put in some money, then you probably aren't going to have the fortitude to make the fund work. So those people don't want to invest anyway. So keep that in mind. You want to have a little bit of capital, and it's great just to open with that. Here is the committed capital that I have without anything. I don't have anything so far, but I've got verbal commitments on this amount of capital. for a lot of folks, it can just be your capital. So you don't have to. I'm kind of speaking from the perspective of somebody who's kind of starting this with nothing, but you should have something. If you got an IRA, if you got whatever, you should be willing to put that into the fund because those people are going to say, hey, if this person isn't willing to put their money in, then I'm not going to. So you have to have some strong amount in the fund. Now, another big part of this is finding the right investors for the concept that you've got. So for somebody like me, and this is a little bit annoying, even just on a deal basis, when somebody comes to me and they're trying to raise money because they've got an idea, that it's a little bit insulting because it's like, dude, you haven't done any research. Like you have not. I specifically go out of my way to talk about the fact that I am not interested in investing in startups. I don't believe in startups. I don't like the failure rate. There's all the reasons that I don't like businesses that are started from scratch. And so when you come and try to raise capital from me, not only am I not going to do that deal, but that means like maybe you do have a deal I'd be interested in, but you're kind of on a list of like, you aren't doing the simple work. And so you, as somebody who's raising capital, have to do the simple work of knowing who your investor is and well, at this point, they're not your investor, knowing who these leads are and doing research on each one. And this becomes powerful in a couple ways because you can say specific things. If I'm raising capital for somebody, I want to be able to say, hey, I read this article that you like deals like this. I wanted to tell you about something because I'm doing deals like this thing that you have said that you like. That is really crucial. It's not only an icebreaker, especially when you're meeting people that you don't know. It can be flattering that you've done that research, but it's going to pique their interest because they're interested in it. And it just like, I've been in situations. I remember a while back when I was doing the mortgage company, and I had somebody who had already kind of retired from the mortgage industry, one of the top people that was in the mortgage industry in my town. And I knew, okay, this person's big into mortgages. Like at the very least, I'm going to be able to get some feedback from this person and be able to learn a little bit from them. But ideally, I can get them to be an investor in this deal that I'm doing. It's the same thing when you're raising capital for a fund. This is the strategy that we're going after. I know that you like the kind of deals that we're going to be doing because I've done my research. Changes the whole thing. And that's two things that I would do in that initial email or whatever you do to reach out to that person. If you're meeting in person, that would be something that you want to get out really, really easy, quickly. So you're telling them this is why this is the perfect thing for them to be involved in. Now, when it comes to email, for some folks, that's going to be the way you reach out. Keep in mind that it's just you're not special for writing an email. Number one, don't do whole dissertations on your biography and all like super long things. It should really be 3 or 4 sentences that captivate that person, tell something about that person, why this is the deal for that specific person. And that's work. That's why all this stuff is work, and most people don't do it. But don't think that because you're sending somebody an email that you're somehow special. You've graduated to the group of people that are capable of putting together sentences and pressing send in Gmail. That's not anything that's gonna impress anybody. Like we get tons of emails. You may feel like, oh, this is a great deal for this person. But if all you're doing is putting together some email that's about you and about your deal and doesn't tie them into it and why they're the perfect person, you're wasting your time. It just doesn't work that way. You're not going to pull that person's attention. Some of the other things to do if you're going to do an email in addition to that is think about attaching a video that goes into the details of the deal that you're doing. Sometimes that sets you apart. If you have a website, put that link in there. Just show that you're doing work. I think that's a really big deal in being able to set yourself apart. But just putting together email, it will, for most folks that you want to attract as investors, will not attract them. They have to see that you're doing some work. I think about, the people that have been mentors as well as investors for me. What they saw was more than just even that initial email or initial contact. Even if they happen to be impressed, the other thing that I think is interesting is in most cases it wasn't that first contact. So I think about I was listening to this story Ti was talking about on. He has a podcast now, and I heard a clip of it. He was talking to another rapper, Killer Mike, and they were talking about how he has a business that's basically kind of in the hood in Atlanta, and he was talking how every time he drives to his business, most of the guys that are out there hustling, they know his car, and they run up to the car, and they're looking for him to basically change their life. And he just talks about like, dude, like it's not going to be one person that changes your life. Like I'm not going to be that person, and it's not even going to be one person. Like you've got to go and do the work and make it happen because nobody's going to come in and be your savior. And that's a tough thing to even communicate because I was there. Like I remember the frustrating, like, man, if I could just get this person to mentor me, if I just get this person to spend more time with me or answer this question or invest in me, like it would change my life in such a big way. And it's so funny. The person that had the biggest impact on my life, who could have invested any amount that he wanted to, was my mentor. Just like it wasn't even a tremendous amount of time. I spent it was literally like maybe an hour and a half, a quarter with this guy over the course of 2 years. That's basically a day once you add it all up. But the information I got during those times, because like I've told you guys before, he was somebody who bought and sold hospitals, moved on to buying and selling golf courses, and then bought a huge company in China. And so he just had a wealth of knowledge. And so that was more like when I first met him, I'm like, oh, wow, like if I could get this guy as an investor, it's like, man, I would I would take that knowledge, that game that I got from him over whatever he would have invested back then, because that's what really changed my life. And you just can't discount it. A lot of times when you're broke, it's like, oh man, like, nah, I just need some money, dog. I don't need game right now. I don't need wisdom or, that kind of stuff. Like I need somebody to invest. And the truth is the other stuff is way more valuable. So don't miss out on that while you're trying to raise capital. But the other thing that's important about that is, man, don't come back in the same place. And that was the thing that made me think of the TI thing. It's like, dude, like, okay, I've been coming back here for 2 years, and every time you come and nothing has changed. You haven't taken the first step. You haven't taken a different step. And I think that was the same thing that I tried to do back then. It was, hey, I'm moving. This is a moving train. I'm moving forward. Things are happening. I'm not depending on you. I'm not depending on some savior to come in and invest. And I love getting those emails. I love when somebody sends me an email. It's like, hey, like, here's a deal I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, I want to look at deals. Like I'm an investor. That's what I do full time is I invest in deals. I was a part of a Shark Tank thing today that was held in Denver. And, we invested $250,000 in one business, $100,000 in another business. So, like that's literally what I want to do. So it's not like I'm saying I don't want to hear from people that are raising capital. Like that's literally what I literally spent all day today listening to pitches from investors, me and two other investors who were kind of the shark in this event. So I want to look at deals and I want to invest in deals. The thing that I love though is when somebody sends me a deal and then they are just giving quick updates. Again, not long dissertation like, hey, just to update you, we ended up getting that deal closed. Would love for you to maybe be involved with the next one. Here are the kind of deals that I'm thinking about. Let me know if there's particular deals that you're interested in, that kind of thing, and you're moving forward. I don't want to get on a train that is stopped. Like that's not what I'm looking to invest in. I'm looking to invest in trains that are moving, that already have some steam, and then I'm just gonna come in and put a little more into the ignition and help move it a little faster. But the stop trying to get it going is not something that a lot of investors are going to be interested in. So you've got to, when you're raising money for your fund, you've got to show people like, hey, this is a moving train. Things are happening. And that's how we move people through our funnel. In our program, we have a investor funnel that we put investors through. And that's a lot of what that process looks like. So you want to update people, and you want to be moving forward. You're not just reaching out to people saying, "Oh, if once one of them gives me money, then I'm going to be able to move forward." You've got to be creative enough to figure out what are the other steps, and then you're updating them along the way. And even if they don't get in on that deal, once they see that, hey, this guy's an actor, he's going to make things happen, because that's what you've got to be able to do. Running a fund is hard work. I'm overseeing just in the fund 11 deals, and I've got another 20 something businesses that I'm invested in, and then invested in two more today. And so there's a lot of work that is involved if you're going to be an investor. So if you're running a fund, you've got to show people that I'm somebody that's going to be able to figure things out. I'm going to be able to get over hurdles and obstacles. And even if it's me not having the capital, that's going to be a problem. You're going to have a business in the portfolio that's losing money. You've got to come up with creative ways to turn that deal around. So it all comes back to you and your ability to be creative. And the more creative you're able to be, the more that people are going to want to be in your fund. Now, here's one kind of final tip on this, and I'm going to be talking more about this kind of thing in the coming weeks. Be sure to include your questions. But if think about talked about when you're targeting a certain business, the T, when you're targeting the certain business, keep in mind that you're doing the deal that is right for your situation. If you're somebody who can't raise a lot of capital and you don't have a lot of money to bring to the table, you need to be stressing that you're going to make up for that with leverage. So if you're able to raise a fund, and then you can go out and take that leverage and be on the line personally for that, but then your investors in the fund have the upside in the fund because you're going to do the debt part. That can be another strategy, but you can only do that if you're doing the right types of businesses. So now you need to be focused on businesses that are probably going to be offline, that are going to have a lot of assets, because getting a lot of leverage for internet businesses is a tough thing to pull off now. That's not something that is it's easy to do. It's just a really tough thing to pull off. I think in the future there'll be all these the same number of tools that are available, and there are new things that are coming. There's the Cabbage and all these different types of PayPal's offering financing, but it's early on. When you compare that to offline businesses, there's just no comparison. There's over 100 ways to get leverage. And so you need to be doing the types of deals that are going to allow you to get access to financing and allow you to be more creative. I have people that come to me, and specifically one guy that came who went through another program, and he's like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can do this no money down internet deal. As part of this program, they said that I could definitely do that. And I'm like, dude, okay, yeah, it's possible, but so is winning the lottery. Winning the lottery is possible, but I don't want to I don't want that to be what my financial future is based on, or my business success is based on. It can't be based on that kind of thing, which is a super long shot. And it's like, I'm sorry that you joined a program where somebody taught you that that's what you were going to do. And it's not even to say that that's impossible, but it's not a consistent strategy. If I had to build a fund and that was what I was going to sell investors on, that fund would end up failing because there's not enough of those deals to get done. So you need to make sure that you're matching the right deal with where you are financially. And of course, everybody wants to do the most beautiful, amazing, cool, super cool deals. But if you're not willing to bite the bullet and do the deal that makes sense for you financially, you're not going to be successful. This isn't about, and we just live in a time right now where everybody thinks, your career and your business should be about making you happy, and it should be your passion and fun. It's like, dude, if you think that private equity is about your passion, you're in the wrong place. This is about doing what it takes to make money. And that just is what it is. This isn't the place to come if you're looking to do what you're passionate about, what you think is cool. So, I get all those people that come and they're like, it's the same thing as what I talked about with the email. Like, you're not setting yourself apart by sending an email. There's nothing special about that. That everybody can do that. You've got to do things that set you apart. Everybody on earth is trying to buy internet deals right now. And, if you got a ton of cash, that's great. But if you're somebody who doesn't, and you are serious about becoming wealthy and building wealth in private equity, creating a fund in private equity, then you need to do something that is different. So thanks so much for checking out. I've got some other things that are in the pipe. I've gotten y'all's questions on the whole private equity lending strategy. I've got some neat videos that are coming out with that. I did an interview with a client. He started his private equity lending business starting with zero capital within a month, and he tells the story better than I did. Raised some capital, has about $4,000 in passive income that is basically arbitrage, where he's borrowing at one rate and lending out at another rate. And this is, I think it's, I've talked about it before. It's the reason that banks make more money than any other industry out there. It's why banks have the largest building in every major city on planet Earth. It is because that simple concept will make you more money than in anything else that anybody's doing. So we'll talk more about the private equity lending. I hope this video was valuable. Raising capital is a big part of being able to pull that off. So I wanted to throw this video in before we get into that. Thanks so much for checking out the video. Subscribe. Getting some great questions in that are leading to some interesting videos. So keep the questions coming, and let me know if this was valuable in the comment. Thanks so much.